Hey there, everyone. It's Amy from the Creative Confidence Catch Up here. Welcome to the podcast that's designed to inspire, motivate, and encourage you no matter where you are in your creative journey. Join us as we share insights, stories, and triumphs of individuals who have harnessed their creative confidence. From discovering your unique voice to overcoming creative blocks, we'll delve into strategies to overcome any self-doubt you may have that can help propel you forward. So in this week's Creative Confidence Catch-Up, today we have Graham Baker. So would you like to tell us a bit about yourself, Graham?
Yeah. I've known you for a few years now.
I know,
I don't think we've ever actually met in person, but that's the way it goes. I'm a commercial photographer. So although I do photograph most things, I concentrate on sort of business-related photography. So anything from headshots to branding, to sort of architecture, to virtual tours, all that kind of stuff. Anything sort of like business, like working with business people, big or small, is kind of my sort of main sort of drive, I guess. Is what I do.
Awesome. So like in terms of like your like background, so you weren't originally doing photography, were you, in police?
No. So excuse me. So I never wanted to start a business. I never dreamed that I was going to be running a business or anything like that. But I was always into photography. Photography was always a thing. I was many years ago, I was in the Territorial Army, so I got to travel quite a lot. And I was always the one with the camera. So I always taking a camera, taking snaps, wherever we were going. I traveled to Nepal, went to the Himalayas back in, mid 1990s.
Wow.
Everest Base Camp, all that kind of stuff. So it was all travel, photography, hobby, that kind of thing. I started off on film cameras and all the rest of it. I then joined the police back in 2000-ish. And I was quite happy being a police officer for a certain time. And then again, photography was as part of that hobby. But then in 2009, we went through a very bad bereavement, my wife and I. We lost our baby daughter during childbirth, and that kind of flipped a lot of my priorities on its head.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously going through the bereavement process and trying to come to terms with all of that kind of stuff, photography was still very much a part of who I was and what I did, and that helped a lot of the sort of grieving process. I found photography was being able to be creative, but it was still a hobby. But then we got involved with this a charity that helped couples who'd lost babies sort of come to terms with it, and support group and all that kind of stuff. And we met another couple who lost their baby around about the same time. It was like just before Christmas. And she happened, Amanda, she happened to be a wedding photographer.
Oh, wow.
And then just through conversations about the love of photography, and we became friends. And she said, "Oh, would you like to come and help me out on a couple of weddings? And just for fun kind of thing." And so I did. I went and helped her as an assistant photographer, and it kind of, a light went off inside me, and I thought, this is what I want to do. And then it just sort of organically grew from that. I said I had no intentions of quitting the police at the time, and I continued to be a police officer, but my hobby grew and ended up starting a little part-time business, a side hustle, as many people call it. And it sort of continued to grow from there, really. And then a few years ago, I was struggling in the police. I don't think I quite dealt with Scarlett's death fully, and a lot of stuff was coming back. Although the photography was helpful, the way that the police was going in, and I don't want to give them a disservice. There's there's some amazing people working in the police, but I think politically it struggles to deal with its own identity and political, and it just became a very toxic place to work. And then I sort of I was still struggling with that. I then got involved with another charity called the Strongmen Charity, which also helped me kind of reset a little bit, because it was specifically about bereavement. And I think all that combined together, the the strong men charity, the bereavement, and dealing with my own sort of mental health, I decided that I would leave the police and became full-time photographer, which is where I am now.
Wow, so cool. And I suppose, like, in terms of the community side of things, so obviously like battling through those sorts of like family circumstances, which obviously wouldn't want wish that on anyone. So that is like, it's really, really sad to hear. But like, I suppose it changes your perspective on what's important and what's not. And I suppose when you have like obviously that happen, but then you have something that you really want to like pursue, like photography. Whereas there might be a job that you're stuck in, and it is toxic. It's trying to get away from that, I suppose.
Yeah, I kind of want to reframe that a little bit. It's
Okay.
not that I was trying to get away from something, although I did want
Yeah.
to leave. It was more about what I wanted to go towards.
Yeah.
It rather than me running away from something, it was more about actually this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, a byproduct is I'm leaving stuff I don't want to be in. So it's just trying to reframe it as in a positive sense. It wasn't
Yeah, definitely.
I did need to get out, but at the same time, it was more about at least I had something that I was striving to do, and that was photography. I knew that for my own sanity, my own mental health, that I couldn't stay in the police for what it was turning into. And I knew that photography was something that I loved, and it helped me from a mental health perspective. But it was one of those things, the expression, isn't it? When you find something that you love, you'll never work a day in your life, kind of thing. It was very much about that. I wanted to spend more time with my family. I wanted to work from home so that, those priorities, that purpose that I had was lost originally. And then refinding that purpose through the Strongmen charity and photography was something that sort of helped me get back into a position where I'm like, do you know what? I'm happier now. I am on less money, but I'm happier for it. And redefining what my priorities were, or are, should I say.
Yeah, that's great. It's been really great talking to you anyway today, yeah, Graham. It's really great to hear like perspectives from all different individuals and like backstories. I always love it. So my last bit today is any words of encouragement, wisdom that you might have that you think that might inspire others?
I think what has sort of driven me, certainly in the recent years, I mean, considering I am a lone wolf, if you like, I'm a self-employed person. I work for myself, and even though I'm in that position, you can't do this alone. And also understanding that there are plenty of people out there that do feel the same way, and finding something that you love, even if it's not a work or not a business, being able to be creative and and obviously sometimes I am restricted on what I can, how creative I can be, because I'm working to a brief for a client. But at the same time, there's nothing to stop me. And I did it recently. I had someone who wanted to be a model, and we had a really good fun time of being creative, coming up with ideas, bouncing ideas, and then using the camera and editing, and it was just that process was just so much fun, and you get so much sort of satisfaction from it. And I think connected with that drive and knowing I'm not alone and having that community, I'm part of the strong men community, which is a bereavement charity. I get involved with that, and it's the same thing, just because my loss isn't greater or less than anybody else's. But as a man, we sometimes struggle with it, and knowing that I'm not alone. So just go for it. Just find your passion. And I know it's difficult to sort of say that when you might be in a job that you don't want to be in. And I was lucky enough to be able to step away from that. But don't be disheartened with it. Take that time to, really get into what you want to do. Just follow it. And yeah, we still have to pay the bills and all the rest of it. But hopefully you get to a point where it offsets. But for me, I needed to move away, and that was it. I'm very lucky in that perspective that I am able to make a living. Yeah, we're not alone. Just find a community, get involved with something, talk to other like-minded people, because you can't do it alone, and as a single self-employed person, I don't do it alone. I have friends, I have community, I have business networks. There's people I talk to. and it's just really, really important to take that to heart.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for coming on today. Really, it means a lot. Yeah, and it's been great to chat.
Yeah, it's been good. Really, really enjoyed it, and it's nice to see you as well. So hopefully one day we'll actually meet in person. I'm sure it will happen.
Hopefully so. Thank you.